I think there are some people that, like what I was talking about, like the resonance or the synchronicity. So somehow how our souls came together, that was able to feel just kind of a natural ease of this love that is something beyond just individual sense. And I think it's also really says a lot about how we've walked our paths. We've done a lot of inner development and work, but that simply coming with love for ourselves and for each other, like it's so simple, actually. It's so simple. And you both have been such beautiful teachers in that. Like, what does it actually mean to show up with love and with vulnerability and how we can meet ourselves and each other? And I think that's such a medicine in the world.
Hello and welcome to Emanate. I'm your host, Quiver, and in this episode, I'm sitting with my wild soul sisters, Molly Bowen and Andrea Livingston. This talk weaves our origins, our childhood inspiration, how we cultivate the love field together here in the gorge, and it also reveals a bit of our silly side. We share how we birthed our creative love project, Wild Soul Journeys, which are seasonal gatherings for women to come together in nature, embodiment, and connection. We invite listeners to journey with us in this playful, joyful, and innocent storytelling. Enjoy!
Well, here we are with two of my beloved sisters. I'm going to pour some Blue Lotus tea.
Amazing.
And as I do that, the first contemplation for us is our origin story. How did we meet?
Oh. It actually came up in our equinox gathering when we were on the land that we met at. And it was so sweet. One of M's dear friends told her about me and me about her when we both didn't even live in this area. We weren't even connected to this land years before we were. And then as soon as both of us moved here, I walked up to her at a gathering on this land, and she looked at me and she was like, "Hi, it's Em." And I was like, "Molly." And I was like, "There you are."
The Molly.
Yeah.
That I've been meaning to meet for this past year.
Yeah. It was such a warm reunion. It was like, oh, of course, there you are.
So amazing.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then soon after, we moved in next to you
Yes.
and had
Yeah.
3 years of co-living, co-mothering, co-tending, garden, chickens, and so it was just the beginning.
So it was just the beginning. Yeah, and it's interesting just feeling back into it. It was like we knew that too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so beautiful to get to be in so many different ways of life together for so many years. And then being in this co-creative phase feels so natural. It's just what we offer together. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, truly. And how did you two meet?
We met, I think I met you both at different women's gatherings. I remember you singing a song at the end of this women's gathering next to me. And I'm like, who is this? Like, I could just feel your heart and your love singing out. And yeah, it was just so beautiful. I was thinking about this as we were coming. And then I think at the next women's gathering I met you. You were at that space. And so just feeling how here in the gorge, being with women, and then starting to feel like, oh, this depth of resonance. And I think you said it like, oh, there you are. I think I also had that similar experience with both of you of like, oh. And then when we three got together, it was like, oh, there you are. What is this resonance, this energy field of aliveness and synchronicity and openness that just is flowing when we're together?
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah, I just remember meeting you in that circle. I was like, who is this radiant being? And you sang a song. So I love that songs have been.
Wow, yeah.
And then we met, it was at a song circle.
Yes, it was.
I love that.
And then you two met through the.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that was my first song circle, and that was like one of my first times singing in front of anyone at. So there was
Amazing. So that's a beautiful thread through song and women.
Nature out on the land.
It's like it was destiny. Well, I know we've had a lot of sweet time, and has it been what, 4 years? Like almost 4 years now. Over 3 years we've been together.
We're very committed. Very committed. It's true.
And just anything we want to share about because we've gotten to know what we're like as little girls, even though we didn't know each other, but it's been really precious. So I'd love to bring in little Molly, little Andrea, little Emily, and anything that we want to share. What did we naturally love to do when we were kids?
Yeah, well, I love you bringing in our little selves, and just as we were discussing about our little girls, it was like, oh, it'd be so amazing to get to know you both then. And we actually had this beautiful play process of being able to embody our younger selves and like the joy. And so that's maybe a whole other story, but we had this beautiful kind of theater ritual process of bringing and evoking our little selves. And I know what I shared then and what's really live for me is how much I love nature. And that's been such a foundational part of my life. And the mountains, I grew up in New Mexico. And with the play process, I'm like, I love the mountains.
Like, we should bring that in.
Yeah.
How adorable you were with the mountains.
I feel really blessed. I grew up in a family who took me out to nature often. We would go to the mountains almost every week. For hikes, we go for longer camping trips. Apparently, the first camping trip I had was when I was 6 weeks old, like in a little out in the middle of the woods. And my father also really didn't like other humans to be around our camping spots. He really liked like wild nature. We would drive for hours in order to find just to be with us and nature. That's it. So that was a really important part of my growing up, what I love to do.
I love that you brought in the play process because I just got to have you may have seen this too, just little Andrea with that big smile, like, I love mountains.
Yes, just like that pure joy. It just, being with the wild, just like there was nothing else like it. Yeah. And the mountains in New Mexico are just so beautiful. And so some part of my soul also is so connected to those wild landscapes there. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about you guys for the play process.
Yeah, with Molly.
Yeah. It's sweet to feel. I went to New Mexico a lot growing up, but then just feel Texas and New Mexico being so close to each other and just such a different climate. But that like the love of nature and the freedom of that. As you're speaking and as we were in our play process, I could really feel just the value of how much I had free, wild playtime so much of my childhood. Since I was homeschooled, we would just get our school done in a few hours. And, that was most of my childhood, was just getting to be wild and free with my sisters, my two sisters. And so there's a lot of just playing outside and rollerblading and this and that, but we were very creative. So it was like this scenario, and then we're doing this scenario. And there was so much of that, like that play and that curiosity and the freedom. And and even our like homeschool groups, it would just be kind of a structured day, but we would just go out outside, which, in Texas where I was, it was just like completely flat dirt. But the amount that we could do on flat dirt, we built like a whole fort out of like old rusty metal and like put carpets in there, and they were letting us just hammer nails, and so we just get to be in this emergent experience. And there were so many situations and scenarios that were so memorable and touching, but it was like this kind of like wild, free, exciting kind of wonder. So much of that spaciousness, and now being so far from that, there's a way that I know that it plays, but getting to experience it with y'all, and getting to experience it with Wild Soul, or just finding these spaces where we can be in that type of slow emergent but like curious, fun, exploratory process. That play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what you brought for us, because you were the one to invite us into the play process.
Oh yeah.
You initiated that.
Yeah.
That was really, really special to be embodying these parts together. And there's been many parts we've embodied together so
True.
far.
So many.
It's true. We can cover those too.
So
'Cause it's but that playfulness that I'm so grateful that you wove that into then what we get to experience. And yeah. Well, since we're talking about, and now I'm really thinking about this play process, and now I'm just remembering so it was us three, and then your beloved Adrian doing this play process together, and my inner girl wanted to revisit my horses and donkey. So we got on Tiffany, Hassa, and Knick Knack. Knick Knack Paddywhack was the donkey that Adrian hopped on. And then you two were on Tiffany. And then I was on Hassa, because at first I was like, it was so great to revisit and time travel.
And then we ride to the mountains.
And then we rode to the mountains. And then we went up, and we climbed up, and we each brought something from the sky of what we're calling in.
We like tasted it in the clouds.
And it was, our words were...
Mine was innocence.
Innocent.
And whenever I said innocence, I could just feel this like lifted, soothing, light kind of feeling. And it was so beautiful because I could feel y'all feeling it with me. What was yours? I don't know if I remember.
Was it wonder?
Yeah, or a play?
One of us said wonder, and one of it...
Oh, joy. It was joy. Yeah, it was joy. Yeah.
It was joy.
Yeah. Kind of the magic, as we're talking about it, is just to be able to say, let's play and act and invoke our younger selves, and then kind of the magic that can unfold, just to allow ourselves to be with the energies and together. It's just like pretty extraordinary. But yeah, joy. Being able to invoke joy. Yeah.
And I think mine was play.
Right. I thought someone's was play. Yes.
Oh, it was so sweet. And yeah, my little girl, like, she loved being immersed in the woods. And having little rituals with my sister, my younger sister. Like, where it was like, we are doing this sacred sister ritual in the backyard.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what I love doing. And then, not too different.
That's just incredible that feeling is so intuitive. Like, I don't know if you felt that, but I remember feeling that, like, this is, as a child playing into something, like, this is really important. Like, feeling that the sacredness of it, but like that, the ritual of like, we're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
Right? Because, but just how much that was in our bones. It felt so kind of like dropped into this intentional way. That's so sweet to imagine that as children, because like in work culture or service industry or the way even healing, often it's like we can have it, think that it's a structured way, but one thing that I really value about the way that we've been co-creating, it's like we have that intentional importance, but there's so much emergence and fun and play and curiosity and wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel
absolutely.
like it's kind of like can feel that youthfulness in our spirits,
Yeah.
and getting to cultivate it in that way that we actually knew deep down, not in the way that we were taught it should be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like I felt blessed to be raised in Gig Harbor, Washington, where it was, not as developed when I was growing up. And I got to similar like freedom to be out with my horses, riding on
Mm.
trails, going to the tides and the beach, and like freedom in nature, which I felt was such an important imprint.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
and then I love realizing our thread too of we're each one of three siblings, and that's been sweet. Then with our triple
Yeah. Yeah.
connection here. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
well, now how did we birth Wild Soul Journeys? What is it? And who's it for?
I was I kind of birthed through another women's group inspiration, but I had this um it's interesting just how it came, because I had this feeling of just such appreciation and gratitude with y'all, where we had these ideas of like, wild spirituality, or we were kind of throwing different ideas of this creation. And all of us could feel it. And one night I was at a Ben Howard concert, and I was really connected to just the spirit of creation, and it all just came. I just knew we needed to have a women's group, and this was a structure, and you two are the ones that I was meant to create that with. And it was just like so clear and like, okay, let's do it. We'll do it this way. And it was so like the structure of it and the creation together was just so perfectly timed, because it was that free, curious experiment of being together with women and facilitating together and like having that structure, but really getting to know each other in that space. It was so beautiful to feel y'all in that space, because I had, mostly facilitated with men and had been in different types of women's groups, but nothing from that like creative, emergent, kind of free, curious field that is something that we all learned to really know together. So, I mean, so much of it was inspiring from this deeper place of knowing that what we've created to feel when we're around each other is so valuable, and this deeper calling we all had to share it more, to bring others in.
So that was
Mhm.
what was that
So that
called?
was called Mother Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, inspired by the wisdom of nature, of Mother Earth. Like, what are these ways? What are the qualities that nature really offers us? To actually be able to be in our natural healing state, and so a practice of presence, that non-judgment, that curiosity, that um, creativity, the connection and sensation. It was so fun to create like group norms, group agreements together from that structure, because it was so beautiful to feel how it was something you both already understood too. Uh, Diversity. Yeah. I just
Yeah.
loved how much clarity you had of like, oh, this group, and I want to facilitate with you both. And it just felt like such resonance and like, oh, yes. And just so beautiful to see the emergence of hosting that group for a while, and then um opening to, it was clear like, oh, there's something else that is here. And one thing that I really love about how this wild soul particular came about is on our walk. That's how I remember. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many different things, but we have 7 a.m. walk times because that's when our schedule's also the league is going for a walk. The league is going for a walk. This is a little insight into our goofiness, which I love so much. I think it was a mistext that I said, like, when's the league going? I think I was just trying to say, like,
typo.
when are we going? And somehow my phone autocorrected it to, like, when's the league going? So we have these league walks at 7 a.m. As you can see, we have our theme song. And it's just like such joy to be in the emergent creativity in nature with y'all and then feel that resonance of our heart. Like, oh, we want to be facilitating women and in connection with the wild earth, in connection with our souls and ritual and this like intuitive nature about how we can be together and that we all do that anyways when we're together. Like it's just kind of what emerges when we're together. Just natural ritual connection and prayer and opening to the wild world. And yeah, I'm just remembering a moment on our walk when I don't know maybe it was you, Molly. I can't remember who said like, oh, maybe there's this new, like that we can go to different places on the earth, like different wild places that we can take women to and just many ideas that was like, oh yeah, that's the next thing that wants to come through. Just the resonance.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we still need to get our league outfit, but
Our winds. I feel like I can feel the swoosh. I can hear the swoosh of our
windsuits.
We definitely need a windsuit.
Yeah, it's so good to bring in the origins of mother wisdom.
Yeah.
And I remember we were sitting and listening. What is this next thing? So we'd be on walks and we'd be getting downloads as we'd be walking on our league walks. And then I remember vividly, we would be sitting together and just attuning and listening and then envisioning. And that was, I think, the first and possible journey was then we're like, okay, we'll go up to the trail and then these things. And then it just started to coalesce more and more. So I see that we've had, again, from the roots of mother wisdom, which was so precious to have that as the foundation. And thank goodness that we were invited by manifesting generator Molly.
Yeah, exactly.
For human designers out there, because Andrea and I are projectors. So
to be invited.
we got the invitation.
And for me, it was like, oh, wow, this has legs. It's actually going. You know,
And then we're like,
this
yes.
is an idea. And like, oh, okay, we're doing it.
Yes. And then I do remember, again, like mother wisdom is so important because you came back from that concert and we were on one of our walks. And the clarity, like you said, the clarity and the vision, and it just like, yes. So thank you, mother wisdom.
Yeah.
And then wild soul, it was more, this has been like over a year. We've been together for over 3 years. So we could say it's been that long in the making since we've found each other again. And then mother wisdom, but then the continued question and listening and curiosity. It's been over a year before our first offering. Which is really beautiful to have it be at this pace of nature. And we've gone through all the seasons together. A few times in so many different ways. And then, like we've already said, it's just inviting in others of what we've been living together. And so then the actual birth of it was another moment of sitting by the fire and listening. And then we were like, oh, we could just attune with the seasons and do what we do, which is sing, drink tea, bring in plants.
Embodiment.
Go
into nature. Storytelling.
Counsel, being able to see and feel and receive each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reflection, reflective writing, and kind of inner journeying too, of just being in that emergent unconscious experience and the witness of what naturally comes forward in the seasons. It's amazing to we all experience it individually, but to really be in the group witness
Yeah.
of the way that we really are living into the seasons, and to get to add support and awareness around that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Truly.
Yeah.
And bringing the play, of course, because
Yes.
that's a big part of us.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful because who is this for? And right now we've been inviting in women, but when we were envisioning this next iteration for Mother Wisdom, we're like, we can keep it open for eventually any age and any body.
Yeah.
But right now it's been really sweet to stay in that space of inviting in the women right now.
Yeah, and there's something about really the awareness, and it's been so touching for me, but the awareness of really learning to listen to and cultivate more of the feminine consciousness together. And that's been something that's been so touching with me with being in relationship with y'all, because it's like living and healing and the human experience. It's exists in a softer, more receptive, more slow, more curious, right, place where really actually learning that together. And that is something that's more accessible and inherent in a female body. And it is something that we're all, learning to cultivate together. And so to actually have this space where we can know that, right? I've been able to learn and know that in a way that's been so touching for me in my life through my relationship with y'all. And so it's almost like it's expanding this kind of new kind of way of presence of that feminine that all bodies are longing for, all of us, we need to know this type of care. And I feel that I appreciate the going slow and kind of just starting to offer it to women and let it trickle out, because we're supporting and expanding this way that we're all actually, we deeply know, but we're all unfamiliar with. Mm.
It's beautiful.
That's bringing me into the contemplation about the love field.
The love.
It's like, what is our love? What's the love field? And how we cultivated this over our time together. You were just speaking to that, but just, I know we've referenced the love field and then welcoming others into it. But yeah, anything we want to share about that?
I think there are some people that, what I was talking about, the resonance or the synchronicity. So somehow how our souls came together, that was able to feel just kind of a natural ease of this love. That is something beyond just individual sense. And I think it's also really says a lot about how we've walked our paths. We've done a lot of inner development and work, but that simply coming with love for ourselves and for each other, it's so simple, actually. It's so simple. And you both have been such beautiful teachers in that. What does it actually mean to show up with love and with vulnerability, and how we can meet ourselves and each other? And I think that's such a medicine in the world. There's so many different things we can do, and all of the development work, I think, is really important. And as we were deepening, just feeling like, oh, what is this deeper essence that's actually calling us, that's beyond any one of us, that we're just like, oh, when can we enter into this field of love that's just so palpable? It's just
and that love includes more of life. So it's like when we're together, it's like includes more of myself, includes more. It's like the places and culture that, oh, I have to be a certain way, and it's like, oh, how can we be in the active practice of including more of ourselves and each other? And it's just so incredibly healing. It's been so incredibly healing to walk with you both in this love field. And then we're like, oh, we just want to invite people into this, and it's like not even that we're doing it. It's like this bigger field that we're within, and it feels so beautiful to be in service of that almost. Like it's like through our relation and through what we're offering, we're also in service of love or the love field. That's what I really feel moving through us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like the love field has been cultivated over these years of us building and cultivating through trust for that, like showing up as we are and being welcomed, because for those hearing, I'm like, okay, love field, it doesn't mean we always have to be in that state. Like we've seen each other through heartbreak and conflict and our crunchy bits.
Crunchy bits. Yeah.
Our tender bits, our crunchy and our tender bits. And that this field is bigger than each of us alone, that can hold it all and welcome it all and alchemize. And as I know we've already experienced with our already just 2 events, like it's working through us, and then it brings up the things, and then it is the alchemy really to come back to love. Like those parts of shame or, oh, wait, you're going to love this part too?
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest gift with you two of having that trust. Like my system feels such trust. Even if things come up, right? Then we have this greater place to be able to bring things into the love field together, witness, be with it. That's so special.
It's so special.
Right?
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. And there's this uniqueness in that way where it feels so human in the way that it's just tending to our caring presence. The love field of just being in our caring presence towards each other and with whatever's there. But what's been so touching for me about co-creating with y'all is like the way that we are all prioritizing whatever we need for ourselves and each other to stay in caring presence. There's a way that both of you that inspires me so much and touches me so much. Both of you live in the heart, and you do everything that you can to live in the heart, which means if you're struggling, it means sharing the shame, right? Or like sharing this pain, where we're going to stop preparing for any ceremony and everything stops and we need to be with us right now.
Literally happened.
That happened.
Where it's like the heart matters more than anything else. We would rather not get any planning done than, to be here.
Yeah, right? It's so true. Like the altar can wait.
Yeah.
We have feelings.
We do. They need to be felt and shared.
I feel like my little girl feels so safe with both of you in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that so much too. And it continuously still touches me, and I'm continuously still learning to receive it. And it's, but it's something that does just feel so like core to our humanity and actually so core to our nature, when we can feel that the care is here and that people are really doing what they can to tend to that care being there, then it really is natural, and so it's beautiful to create this container together where, the structure is set up where that's all that's needed, and there's curiosity and play, but to be able to be in that play, there is that sense of safety, but there's that full permission to just be where and however you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like we each of us have deep practices to build, like, to have that trust, because we're, as best we can, taking self-responsibility, which I think is key in that trust of building the love field, so that this as being healing for the feminine to truly be on this healing path together. And even if we still have our own wounds, it's not like we're making each other responsible for our own healing, but just being in loving witness is in and of itself healing. And that's what I love us bringing in and inviting others into that, right? And I just want to bring in one little example of the love field, a little story. So we were, during this play process, one of the play processes, we were talking about lyrics that we misheard as kids.
Oh, yeah.
What were some of yours again?
Mine was the TLC Chasing Waterfalls. It was like, don't go chasing waterfalls. And like my cousin's name was Jason. And I was like, yeah, I thought Jason was so cool. So I'd like sing it into the fan, so it'd make my voice like chasing waterfalls. And I would always think about my cousin, just like
And then when did you find out it wasn't?
Not for a while. I don't think it was until like college. Like, oh, that didn't say Jason.
Oh my God. Oh, that's right. That's so funny.
So good.
I can't remember. Did you have any that you...
Yeah, it was I'll have to think. It's like, I blow bubbles when you're not there. It's like, instead of like, my world crumbles when you are not there. And somehow it sounded like, and I blow bubbles when you are not there. And I just was really sure. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You blow bubbles. Okay. Like, and it was in middle school, but I was singing the song very heartfully with a friend. And they were like, did you just say blow bubbles? I'm like, yeah, that's how the song is. And they're like, that is not how the song goes. It's like, you are right. Okay. Yeah.
But it should.
Yeah.
I like blow bubbles better.
Yeah, that's a nice way to say the song. What about yours?
Well, I was sharing this with our old play process, you two, and Adriana. I was like, okay, Alanis Morissette, and it's, you ought to know of the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. And I thought so confidently it was cross-eyed bear. Because I had my sweet Jojo, my cross-eyed bear, growing up. And then it opened up this whole story of my like regret of letting go of Jojo, who had a red bow tie, crossed eyes, and it was my favorite. And I was going through this moment of like, I need to release things. And then, and I was sharing this with you both, and like how much I miss Jojo based on mishearing Alanis Morissette, cross-eyed bear. And I don't know if I really, it was a long time before I ever realized it was cross. But so this really is such one of the most meaningful moments. So then we're getting together at my place to have like a session where we're listening in on what's next with what now is Wild Soul Journeys. And we're sitting, we're meditating, we're listening, we're having tea. And then I get up and I look, and I squeal because there in the corner is Jojo! How in the world did Jojo come back from being tossed like almost 10 years ago. And I was just like this.
It was so sweet watching you get so excited.
So that's this example of the love field that you two heard this. And then you found JoJo.
Yeah. It was such a precious moment to see the recognition of someone, the cross-eyed bear, sweet JoJo coming back, and so sweet to feel your impulse of look, I found this on Etsy. We found I found a cross-eyed bear. We have to get it for M, and it was just this mission that felt so beautiful. And then we're like, oh, she said it had a red bow tie, so we have to separately order a red bow tie. Just how fun to have this love, this care. So precious.
And it even came with the little book.
Yeah, that book.
And then Molly, you read us the book.
And a story time.
It was so it just again it feels like remothering ourselves or reparenting ourselves together. And you read us this sweet book. And it just felt like that I am so loved by you both. So I just wanted to bring that in.
I love that JoJo gets to come in. That reminds me of just the feeling that I feel so much with y'all that is so beautiful to extend and share with others of just delight. Being just in that type of attunement, it delighted me so much to watch you discover JoJo. So delightful.
It's that innocence, right?
Yes.
Because that's another thing just to bring in, our experiences together. This is one example that have inspired Wild Soul Journeys is weaving in that innocence that I feel we really get to experience together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there's anything that's percolating or bubbling up that we want to bring in stories or memories of our experiences.
I feel there's there's so many little things that we're just continuously laughing about. We're gonna have some great parodies coming.
Oh yeah,
definitely. But I think what's so beautiful reminds me of Esther Perel says you have to feel safe to play. And so there's so many little sweet memories of here and there of just these scenarios and just hilarious things. There's this play that just comes naturally with whatever we're doing. And it's so sweet to get to be, the way that we're offering that with Wild Soul. It's there's that inner delight in each other, but with our creation there, the idea is we get really excited and playful about this or that, and getting to really listen into what, it's not just listening into the season or what what would support the women. It's really bringing in the spirit of play that comes from that safety that most of us actually really don't know how that feels, and so there's something there too that feels so potent where, and especially got to feel this with you. I'm living next door and feel this with you too, Andrea, of we have seen each other through such pain and difficulty and fear, and we can still laugh and we can still be amused and we can still wonder. There's this curious evolution that we also have in the way that we're experiencing life together that's so beautiful to get to share more, with others. That's kind of rooted in these pieces of play too, of healing and growth can be really fun.
Yeah. Does Janet want to make an appearance at all?
Well, Janet likes to have fun sometimes, but really she's here to save the planet, and that's a very serious thing, so.
Is.
We love Janet so
We
much.
love Janet so much. Oh my god. Oh gosh.
Janet's the only serious one in this group.
So there's actually 4 of us.
Yeah.
There's also
Yeah.
Janet.
There's also Janet. Very important part of our alchemy.
Soon she'll be running the Wild Soul journey.
It'll be a different journey.
So it really kind of started when we were in Mazunte. I feel like you were sending me these amazing Janet videos of you doing extreme sports in the snow while we were in Oaxaca, which is actually this beach up here. For just the audio, it's a beach in Oaxaca. And so Molly was sending these hilarious reels of Janet, this alter ego who is hilarious and here to save the planet. And I've been very enthusiastic about Janet. Maybe making appearance with more social media reach, but we'll see. But she made an appearance at Finn's birthday last year, which was a hit.
That was her big first appearance. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. There's something so beautiful about being able to go between laughter and depth. Like, like being able to be in the depth of a prayer or an emotional process or just being together and then being able to bring in laughter and bring in levity and bring in play and that we can have the fluidity. Like there's something about being able to have the fluidity of like, okay, we can really be with the challenge and be with like, oh, this is so hard. And also remember and bring in that levity and singing songs and joking and, just being able to be in the laughter and then being able to be with those tender bits. Yeah, I think that's been one of the most beautiful things about facilitating with you both is like being able to really bring this like, oh, this thing feels really hard. And being able to name that in places that I wouldn't name that at my normal work or I wouldn't name, and just being able to see like, oh wow, I can bring this and I'm actually being received and like welcomed and like totally different than my nervous system would think of like, oh, they're gonna run away from this and it's gonna be horrible or something like, these deep places that haven't been able to actually come and just being able to bring forward and then feel like, oh, okay, little by little, it's like we're with each other practicing this, that we're also practicing this culture in the wider world and in the groups that we're inviting of like, oh, how can we have a safe place to be able to bring those parts that feel really tender or hidden and that, that we can welcome. Like there's like a welcoming water and something about kind of as we're talking about the play and the tender parts, it's like it's so much like childhood, before we were conditioned. It's like, oh, here's the parts that are amazing and delightful and here's the parts that hurt and that there's just more freedom and air and space for them to be there. So it's incredible. I love that we started out with our young ones. It's like seeing how it's weaving through the conversation. So,
Some stories that are popping in my heart right now are, well, when we were in Mazunte and your friend was visiting and she wanted to rebirth herself and we just were like, okay, we'll do a ceremony for that. And it was just this moment of like improv, emergent ritual. And we ended up going swimming with the dolphins and having this full midwifery rebirth process.
Did y'all know the dolphins would be there?
Well,
Just, oh. I was like, amazing. That would have been next level.
Yeah.
That would have been next level.
They just came. But dolphins are midwives that we learned. So what in my soul, I was like, oh, if we just know this, we do this, and that this was happening there, this was happening here with the 3 of us, with different constellations of women, of there's someone has a desire, whether that's rebirthing themselves or wanting to get pregnant. And we just are like, okay, here, let's do this ritual right now. It's not intellectual. It's soul level and a intuitive feminine way. And that's what I feel like we really have cultivated just through being in relationship over these years. And we've gotten how many women pregnant? It works. So, anyone listening who
Thank you.
any more tea?
Sure.
And I'm also reflecting on, Molly, all of our many amazing walks up to the Mother Oak,
Yes.
where we used to live, and the magic with the land and listening together. And again, that emergent, both the depth and the playfulness together.
When we got initiated by the forest.
Oh my gosh. I was just talking about that. I got initiated by poison oak. Praying hard, listening to Gua Rock together. That was fun.
We weren't quite familiar with the land yet. We both had I had newly moved into the Bay Area, and it was at night, and we had music on, and we were just being night earth creatures.
Yeah.
Wanting to go climb on the oaks, really.
Wanting to find that one oak, but that meant tromping through the poison oak. And then before that, too, I just remember us having this moment of honoring our mama bodies.
Yeah.
And our different, like the scar on the side of my boob from the crazy mastitis. And you just honoring that this was what gave nourishment. It was so healing to be honoring our bodies that way.
Yeah, and to give it that presence, like I have loose skin on my stomach from the boys, and there's like this, it's like it feels like my little secret. And then it's like, wait, no, this is the most beautiful, honorable thing. And to get to share it and to be in that, in that witness with each other and just like that love field, right? Of just fully loving and honoring.
So good.
Embracing it.
So good. And then when we were also in the same day, and we were coming to meet and do sunrise songs, and we get invited to this cacao ceremony with women that ends up being this music video that we end up doing.
I don't know if I've heard this story.
And they're like, this is just, we're just emergent.
Wait, what did you end up
cacao
doing?
ceremony music video photo shoot with the water. And it was so fun. And we're like, this thing there, we're like, this is just how we have the emergent ritual spontaneity field.
Yeah, and not like needing to plan it. It just is like showing up and being like, there were women there who were just like, oh, are you here for the photo shoot and the music video? And we were like, no. And they're like, oh, are you here for like 3 different people asked us. And they were like, you can join if you want. We were like, okay, this is where we should be. But in women with nature, it was like, oh yeah, this is what our hearts know and what comes so naturally. It's like, oh, we've been doing this for a long time. And even through our ancestry and through our own souls, like what have we been cultivating in this like natural way of women being with each other and the earth and in ceremony of like, I remember my friend who was coming with a new name, was taking on a new name and like, oh, I really want to birth myself into this name as like a thought. And it's like, well, let's do the actual birth. Like, what does it mean to get into the water and to swim with dolphins and to birth this new identity and just the power of being able to listen to life and then follow what we know how to do naturally. Like if we can just, you were saying when we're kids and we just naturally are like, oh, I'm going to do this ceremony, or there's this intuition that we can just follow our knowingness and follow like, oh, and that we can do it together. We don't need someone else or some school or some, it's like, that we can reclaim this natural way of just being in like spontaneous, almost innocent ritual together of like, what would honor this moment and what would honor someone wanting to have a baby and what would honor, these very, it's almost like reclaiming the birthright of being able to have and midwife each other into these kinds of ceremonies. It's been so powerful to remember. Like, oh yeah, we know how to do this.
We know how to do
Okay. It was just like this recognition, like, oh yeah, let's do this.
Uh-huh.
Let's do this ceremony. So
Yeah.
mm,
So true. And then just would love this moment if they're just to have for the listeners that may not know us yet, what are our own personal experiences or professional experiences that we are bringing into Wild Soul Journeys?
mm,
Um, I think that like the wild freedom of how I was raised is a really deep aspect of me. But then my mother was also studied counseling, and she really was intentionally wanting to create this way for me and my sisters that was loving and well. And she really tried. She tried really hard to create an atmosphere that was deep and intimate and really caring. And she was very intentional about that. And so there's kind of just that psychology and spirituality that I just was living in from her. And um, yeah, and then, I was spiritual in college and had women's groups and um, yeah, but it wasn't, so that was like always kind of just there. It always felt like something that I would do. But then whenever I was in college, I I had this like big learning of who I really was. Like I hadn't really felt myself in nature, um, after like high school and just rebelled. And so to be able to come back and really be in that, um, more nurturing, curious place with myself in this new way, um, I was still kind of in that exploration. And I feel like having my son was the big initiation of like me as this nurturing, caring being that actually really wants to be intentional with this knowing of nurture or caring for life. It like Quinn really showed me that experience of myself and called me to offer it, but in this like newer, deeper way. I was doing social work before him for a few years, and so I was working at public schools with at-risk youth, and there was this like my body ended up getting sick quite often because it was just so I could feel so much of the pain of what the kids were experiencing, and it was so heartbreaking how helpless they were, and it was so heartbreaking in the system how little I could do, to help them. And that having that experience then into motherhood just really connected me to how important it is to experience that warm, loving, nurturing, attuned place.
mm,
And I kind of like radically learned to offer that for my boys, and like really know that in a deeper way for myself. And yeah, and then I went to study mental health counseling. And after getting my graduate degree, and even with that too, it was like there's something that's kind of missing here. Like we have a lot of education and a lot of information. Um, but that like I still had an ache even in my graduate program of like how much I didn't feel the heart, and how much I knew the heart was really what was needed in a deeper, more intimate way. And it's been so beautiful. I have a private practice and I've had that for almost 5 years, almost 5 years now. And I see men and women and couples, and I did ketamine assisted therapy for a while and really specialized in repairing the attachment system, really repairing connection with self and other in life and this connection with all relations. And it's been so beautiful. And a piece that I left ketamine assisted therapy recently because I could feel how much we really need to learn to sense connection with ourselves and each other from this caring present place. People would have these incredible, and I'm so grateful I had that experience because I was able to witness a lot of deep healing, but I could feel just the loss and the ache of how difficult it is to come back to connection and humanity
when there's so much disconnection and stimulation, there's a way that we really know deeply, but we intuitively don't know how to exist in, and so I feel really, it's like my passion project, Wild Soul Journey, to just feel such a natural inspiration to get to create spaces where people can feel this. Because I can feel how much it's such an integral piece of this like community, like this gathering, this like learning how to be together.
So beautiful. And your boys are so lucky.
It's true.
Incredible beings. Yeah.
Thank you.
You really create that nurturing, like, warm attunement from my boy too. So blessed.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love hearing the initiation that giving birth was, like that, all these different moments of what initiates us into our deeper soul calling. So it's beautiful to hear.
Incredible. It was like this whole new, I wonder if you felt that too, Em, of just like, whoa, I naturally know how to do all of this with my body. Like, and it's like, I've never experienced it this way. And I know it all so deeply. And then the same kind of incongruence of like, and the way that we're taught to have and raise our babies doesn't feel heart-centered in the dominant culture, just this like strange kind of feeling of like, oh wait, there's a way that I know that, I don't often experience outwardly.
Yeah, that intuitive, like natural intuitive way that's much deeper.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, somehow that thread is really with me, the like natural intuitive way. And for me, um, I think many things contributed to what I bring to the circle. But there's something of just knowing to be in nature and knowing to be with women. I remember when I was in grad school, I started a women's group. I called it like the Women's Vision Group because I was like, let's bring our visions and we can midwife each other what we're calling it. And someone said like,
Of course.
what? It was so sweet.
Love
And
that.
someone was like, why women? And I was like, I don't know. That's just what I felt called. Like I didn't even have words. I was like, oh, I know women coming together to be in our hearts and with our visions and with each other felt so fundamental, so important in my soul. And I didn't know why. And my own professional journey has really been with this depth of this question of how can we bring about collective healing? Like that feels like, and transformation, like looking out at the world and saying like, oh, okay, what needs to shift and what part can I play in that shift? And because I've been really interested in spirituality, in consciousness studies, kind of always saying, how can we shift consciousness? Like if we can shift the consciousness, we can shift the planet, and I just had this sense. And so for grad school, I studied consciousness studies, got my master's in consciousness studies, which everyone said, what are you going to do with a master's in consciousness studies? And I said, I don't know, but this is what I feel passionate about. And I found an organization that studies consciousness and wants to help shift the collective consciousness, which is the organization I've been working for the last 13 years, called Institute of Noetic Sciences. What's interesting about it is that we have science and also partly bringing to these anomalous experiences that science doesn't know doesn't know what to do with intuition, with things like synchronicity, with things like channeling, like when information comes through that the mind doesn't know. It's like, what is that? And we have this amazing group of scientists and practitioners who are coming together to explore that. And I think there's some part in my own system exploring what is that in like deeply intuitive spiritual nature, like looking for those answers and how we can bring that into the world. And so that's been a big part of my journey, and somehow what I feel like the women's gatherings are world work also. Like there's something about the feminine coming together and reclaiming in these ways for ourselves, and what happens when women are deeply nourished and supported, like how that supports our world. So somehow like the women's work and the collective transformation work also feel so tied to me in my system. And yeah, and just allowing the kind of natural movement. And so I've studied different modalities, like somatic experiencing. So I also do one-on-one work and group work, looking at like what is that acupuncture point that we can come together. Also, that brings joy, that we can be with the world that is, in so many ways in crisis right now. And how do we tend to that ourselves and with each other? And so I feel really passionate about being with others as we tend to that in whatever way feels alive for us. And so that's taken me on many different journeys, but maybe I'll just say one final thing about it is I was blessed to do a lot of work with Animas Valley Institute with Bill Plotkin, who I love, doing deep nature soul work. And I did this vision fast when I was maybe 25. And I had no idea, what I'm like, oh, what's my purpose? And I'm like praying on the mountain, like calling for my purpose and my soul. And I ended up getting lost. I had like in the morning, I was like, I am going to like my journey to the rock pile today is going to like show me what my purpose is. Like, I was like, I'm going to find my gift for the world. And it turns out I got lost, which was so interesting. I don't know if I've told you guys this story.
I love this.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm in my thing. I think I'm on day 3 or 4 of not eating any food. And I wanted this very particular space. So it was kind of like far away from like, I had to go back and like basically change a rock from one side to the other so that the partner who was there would know that I was alive. No one was going to check on me, but it's like you change the rock over once a day so people know, okay, you're okay. So I'm like, I'm going to go to my rock. I'm going to find my gift for the world, So I have this whole thing. I'm like so weak because I haven't eaten. I'm like walking. I'm like, wow, like lightheaded and, all this stuff. But I had my prayer and I'm walking and I get lost. There was like a little clearing where the rock pile was, and somehow I just walked past and then around and then up and like it about 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I was lost.
Oh no.
And then I at one point I finally found my way back to my camp, and then I'm like, I have to go to this rock pile, and it's my gift. Like I can't, like I have this whole metaphor that I'm like finding my purpose for the world today. So I'm like going and I'm like, okay. And then I find this like stick and I'm like, okay, I will find my purpose. And I'm like walking and I could not find that rock pile. I could not find it. I walked back. I walked over. At one point, I somehow made my way back to camp and I was really turned around. It was like this whole thing.
Wow.
And then at one point with my stick and, 8 hours in and no food and in this prayer, I just completely surrendered. Like I completely full body castrated to the earth and just asked for the prayers of my ancestors, for the prayers of every guide I knew, for the prayers of Gaia, of God to come through, like show me what my gift is, like show me. I can't, and it became so clear it wasn't about me. Like, oh yeah, this isn't about you, and that it wasn't something I could do with my own will, my ego. Like I'm bringing my gift. It's like, no, like this depth of surrender. I just like crying fully stretched out, asking for every guide, like show me the way. What I know I can't do it by myself. Like what is the purpose that I need to bring to the world? And had this whole beautiful teaching of surrender. Like, oh, wow, the depth and meaning of surrender. And like what it is to walk a soul path of like, oh, right, I don't know. And how can I call in the deeper guidance for what to do? And then I just stood up and I knew exactly where it was. I knew exactly. It was like I was in some other state. I was just like, oh, and I just like beelined it. It was like this little, like right for the clearing in the woods. And it was just like the teaching of like, okay, it's not about the ego. It's about this deeper surrender. And that whole vision fast was all about like, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it's women, spirit, and earth. Those 3 words. And the teaching was about surrender. And it's like, so who knows now, 12 years later or whatever it is, it's like, oh yeah, this is wild soul journey coming into form of that deeper surrender, that deeper bowing of like, we don't know, and we call upon what the emergence that wants to come forward. So
wow. What a story! Oh my God. It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so sweet. I hadn't shared that. And there's something that was when I really was like, oh, I want to work with women, spirit, and earth. Those were like the 3 words. And I haven't totally known how to bring that into form. And so being able to be with you both and have that same heart resonance of like, yes, this is what I want to do. Like my little self, my, 20-year-old self getting lost out on the woods, like all weaving together. So
That's so amazing. Wow. That's such a good story.
Thanks for receiving it. Surrender.
Surrender.
Oh my gosh.
Surrender.
Mm.
Yeah. That brings my like awareness back to that feeling of the safety, or well, like maybe the emergent aspect of the love field of the surrendering to what unfolds, because there's this quality. I feel like we worked that in creation. It reminds me of that time I was like I was still it's been a process for me to like get out of the medical healing model, of like and it reminds me of that the experience with you because I was getting kind of like blocked in these areas of how do we integrate spirituality, and like I can feel like earth and women and like wanting it to be accessible, but I felt this block around spirituality with not knowing or wanting to create inclusive language to to make sure that it was accessible or that it was like language that people could resonate and understand with, and feeling careful about the word God or spirit or, and we were talking about how to bring that in and what way. And I can't remember the context, but you were like, you need to get out of the broom closet.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, that's another reel we're gonna do.
We got it coming out of the
And you're just in there. Like, I'm like, it's time. And it'd be funny if you're like pretending to ride around on the broom and you keep knocking under the door. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But I love you bringing in that awareness of, because I'm not coming from that field of professional clinical healing.
Well, it reminds me of like Andrea with her staff of like, I'm, your will of like, we need to find the way. And it's this, like, I'm going to go to the rocks. Like there's a different energy where like, I'm going to make it safe and for everyone, it's like it's a different feeling even in my body of like, really like I can even feel it where it's like I'm much more in my head and my action feels much more masculine of a quality in my body where there's in that like surrendered sense of creation, it's just this like deeper listening and knowing of what's alive. Like it feels like it like comes from this place, which hearing that in that kind of that surrendered place where now it's like I'm learning those edges. It's been beautiful to work those with y'all. Like I'm so trained this way. And then it's like, oh yeah. And then where I can just relax and it can be comfortable and easy and pleasurable,
I think you even got a little candle of
Oh yeah, did
broom.
we get me a candle?
Yeah. Coming out of the broom closet, welcoming.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That reminds me of like a few months after that, and I was still just like, okay, I don't know. And then this astrologer was like, literally said, you need to get out of the broom closet. I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Wow. So good. Well, I've been out of the broom closet for a while. And I really credit that to my beloved, dear soul friends from North. Rhea, Terry Lynn, Karuna, Lo, and we really have gone deep together. And this is what I'm bringing to Wild Soul Journey is this depth of ritual, emergent, shadow work, accountability. And we really started off with yoga was like the culture that we were creating together of being embodied. And then it evolved where tea initiated me in this Celtic way, this path that felt so familiar. And there can be all these different names for it, priestess, blah, 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 you know. But what I know to be true in my heart and my soul is that I am here to serve life and life-giving force, whether you call it goddess, God, spirit, whatever it is. And that was made clear years and years and years ago. Like, however I can be a channel, a vessel for that. And then it's just been showing up in all these really fascinating ways. When I made that vow, that was in 2015 on Imbolc.
Oh,
Wow, I love that.
Yeah. And it's shown up midwiving in all these different ways. It's like a being on call to spirit. And then professional experience, I'd say I've had a lot of adventures. I've already gone on so many wild soul journeys that I feel so blessed. Like leading bike tours in France or doing yoga retreats in Europe and traveling many different places, those journeys. And every time I would go on a journey, whether it was solo or with a group, it would be like I'm wanting to really deepen my relationship with this place and come in that way. Because I had some hard lessons when bringing a group to Ireland, even with the intent of welcoming them in with someone who's from there. It was just like how to really be in right relationship is my continued question and desire. And I love that we've had, like, each of us have been called to this land here, this sacred, incredible land of the gorge that is powerful. These volcanoes, these living, amazing beings of these mountains that have so much energy, this river that's been undammed, the White Salmon River. And as we've talked, that this land has an energy of, it feels like a ley line. It feels like there's, it's a major point on Earth's body. And when things are in alignment, they flow because of the amount of wind here and the free-flowing river. And it can also knock you down. So just as my prayer for, however I'm showing up to Wild Soul Journeys and is bringing in that humility of listening, slowing down. And I love that you brought in that surrender piece. I love that you brought in birth, because there's nothing like birth to surrender to something bigger. And so that's that's the joy for me. And then I love, my inner girl loves, what do you want to say? Like the playing these different characters and invoking the archetypes and working with archetypes. And so that just feels like it's my natural spirit to bring in
Absolutely.
through embodiment. And then, yeah.
Oh, and it's so fun watching your spirit come through with that because it's just like there's such a beautiful like vibration that's fun that just like naturally invites everyone in. You know, it reminds me of in Mulk with Bridget and just like the tapping on the pot and all of us were just you can just like the way that you bring people into that experience also is just so yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so fun. It's like, you know, it's like that performer artist part of you, but it's a shared experience. Like everyone gets to be in that with you. And so fun to just get to watch a whole group. Like we've been so gifted by getting to do to feel that with you. But
Oh my
to
gosh.
see a whole group of women get to enjoy it. Yeah.
It's so fun together. I mean, that could be this next thing of like, what do we love about facilitating together?
Yes.
So many things.
Well, I love just on this when you're talking about undamming, you know, I know that's been such a clear path for you and the creativity that comes through just in this playfulness. I was thinking about our last gathering on equinox and being like, okay, what are the themes around this time? And we're like, oh yeah, the egg, you know, like with Easter and spring and fertility. And then you're like, let's reclaim the egg hunt, you know, just this like brilliant, like, let's get these eggs, but like really, what's the deeper symbology of the egg and how can we do it? And so it's like so delightful to watch you. And we surprised the women with it. And as they were doing something else, Em went out and hid the eggs, these wooden eggs in the grass that we were going to then decorate with a much deeper intention, like desire that we want. And just to like see you inviting people and to like, now we're going to reclaim this egg hunt. And there was just like such a joy and play and meaning of like just being able to do that. So just thinking about that as you were talking about that creativity flowing through. So precious. And we're like, yes, like I would have never thought of that. It was so amazing
so good.
just to see that flowing through.
Yeah. I feel like we've got it so sweet seeing the evolution of how we are with our ideas. Because like in the beginning, we're kind of like, well, what do you think about this? You know, like there's a little like, how about that? Or like, is this okay? Or, you know, and then now we're like, this. And everyone's like, yeah, like, yes. That's how we know it's like really a solid idea when we all start like dancing around with like
So true.
It's we did feel just like the freedom, you know, I'm just like, what about that? And that, you know, and like that co-creative process. And then also the way, I mean, this translates from what we've been sharing with just the love field of like, there's no wrong or bad or not, you know, and it's like, oh, and then that, and then that. And so the way that it kind of like builds, you know, but then also, I mean, we all really felt that in our first wild soul journey with just like, we are amazed and delighted by each other, you know, just hearing it all feels so potent and rich and inspiring when we talk about it. And then like actually experiencing y'all in that role, both of you, has been incredible. Like I'm so excited to get to be in the next one and see what comes through because I'm just continuously amazed and delighted and inspired.
Yeah. Same. It's like falling in love each time.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful because, you know, we've had two so far and we've switched our different parts a little bit. And so hearing your story and seeing you be with Nettle. And what I love about facilitating with both of you is I just feel so relaxed when it's happening because I trust that between the three of us, like the women that are there are going to be attuned to, and it just feels like a buoyancy and a rootedness at the same time.
Yeah.
And even though I've gone through my own little, like before, because I feel like we're going through our own initiation before it happens, and we're going through the curriculum before we offer it. And and then, but when it starts, it's like this, oh yes, this gets to just unfold. Like we can have the structure and the ideas, and then it just is even better when it's happening.
Yeah.
And that I get to witness both of you and your gifts and endless wisdom is such a joy for me.
Yeah, that resonates so much. And just like this experience of like wanting to hear more. I think we were talking about your journey after, and you were like asking for reflections. I'm like, I just want more. Like, I just want more of that journey, more of the space. And it feels so good to just also feel that trust of like, okay, like there's a deeper emergence that we're all listening to. And that's really felt, it's like we're doing it, but it's like that deeper stream of like, oh, something's wanting to come through, and just to be able to trust, like totally being like, oh, let's see what that is. And it's such a delight.
Yes. Yeah. I appreciate too how we're all able to, it's like trusting the emergence, and then we also have that flexibility of like, once we kind of have the plans, it's like gestating, it's inside, and then like there's an evolution even with what we created there, where we're kind of continuously in that tending of like, oh, I have a longing here, or I'm, feeling a desire here, or, like, and then following that inspiration. Like, I think that ed it was just a few days where it really downloaded for you. It's like, and just kind of noticing, that just like letting it all come in whatever way it does. It's fascinating to see also how it shifts, but also I appreciate so much about working with y'all. It's like we are all very flexible and trusting with however it's wanting to create through us. And that's been so beautiful to experience too.
Oh yeah, and like your relationship with Nettle, you listening and writing this amazing poem, and we will at some point do the shamanatrix reel with you whipping with the Nettle, but that's another time.
Different time of wild.
Because it's like what we already shared about what we bring is like you bring in this depth of attunement and relational field. And then I see that with how you brought that in with Nettle. It was so beautifully. And then you with your experience with going and on these medicine walks, and now knowing this other amazing story of you going on that medicine walk with your stone search to then hold that threshold for the women and invite in, and it's just amazing that. And what's beautiful is that we keep coming back to that abundance of that more, that like, oh, more of this, is that we want to do this. This is the vision, is every, what are they called? The wheel of the year, high holy days, the equinox, the solstices, the cross quarters. And so that we're going to have opportunity to continue to deepen and have a relationship with the plants and in our journeys and the fire, all the elements together.
Yes.
And that how smart of us, because I want to hang out with you anyway and honor the seasons. And I just love that we're creating this life that is also supporting the seasons that we're going to be in. Like, it meant so much to me because I had this thought after I realized I was pregnant. I was like, oh no, am I not going to be able to do wild soul journeys now? And you both, the way you responded, were like, no, this is what it's for.
Yeah.
And there's no missing out.
Yes.
And that we want this to support our different seasons of life too.
That's been so beautiful to feel with the women that have been coming too, because there's been a lot of mothers, but
Yeah.
like quite a few pregnant women too, and it's so beautiful to feel. I mean, even that trust in the greater evolution of this, like what else is wanting to create through this, like with this play. You know, we've had fun visions of families and littles, or having other areas where littles can play while their mamas get to be in the wild soul journey.
Mhm.
But it's fun to just like in our own evolution to just know that that's just going to be a part of what's being created.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was thinking it'd be fun to share. We've kind of already done it, but just like, how do we do business and how do we make decisions? And they kind of touched on it where we're like, now there's inspiration. And then we go, yes, 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 yeah, 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 yeah.
On our lead walks.
Yeah.
Every Thursday morning. All right.
It's like a very official business, decision making is we all have to be really pumped enough to be able to be dancing around, being like, that's the thing. And yeah, so it's the most enjoyable thing. And also just being able to be on walks. I love that we plan our events also while we're walking and in the wild.
Bodies in nature.
In our bodies in nature and with each other and just in the emergence of like, let's see what wants to show itself, what wants to come through us or through each other. And just the care at the love field that's underneath. You mentioned it earlier about like, it doesn't really, like, the thing that matters most is the relation. And then from there, we know we can build whatever, so opposite of so many business cultures of like, let's get the business done. It's like, okay, how can we create from a place of joy, from a place of love, from a place of like deep listening, and then dancing around wildly when we all align on something.
Yeah. It's like, this is how we get to do business. This is so delightful. And then it's been really beautiful. It feels like this is healing for the feminine too, is getting in touch with our desires, speaking them. And then this thing we've been working with, you kind of brought in of like, it's okay to take up the space. Like, we want our spirits to take up the space. There's so much space for each of us.
Yeah.
And we're going to amplify each other. And that's healing, that there's not a competition. There's not a scarcity.
Yeah.
That's the old egg hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that feels so like regenerative when we go do business. Because we're treating everything as ritual, even like the receiving of the energy that's coming in from these women coming is ritual.
Yeah.
And abundance and that flow of love and the love field that you two have shown. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm feeling too that there's this way in that trust of care. We all know that we want to offer and support in whatever ways needed. And that's like, it's sweet to feel that with like delegating tasks or who does what in what way, like especially the annoying business things of like accounts for this and this for the website. And it's like, I can feel all of us being attuned where we are all tracking and, listening into what's needed in different areas. And we all confidently can ask for support and what we need, right? And then we're all very willing to offer, and then even when we're not able to, there's like, I could feel that when I can't remember, I was out of town or something recently and I couldn't do these moments. I haven't been able to do as much as y'all could. I know that y'all have willing, trusting hearts where we're not even tracking who's doing what or who's doing enough or who's, and we'll have moments of like, did I take up, and it's that reparative experience of how there is so much trust and spaciousness and And even like, we're inspiring with this next one and we're listening to the emergent field and like we can feel that M has a lot of creative energy and she has a lot more to offer right now, and so it's like, yes, this time actually we need a lot more for M to be, and like all of us intuitively felt that,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful to even just listen to that evolution of this trust that there's space for everyone, and it's like that, and even the concept of taking space, right? It's like, like it's just, I feel so a part of everything that y'all offer that I don't even, it's like I'm not even equating that in my head. It's like, yeah.
Well, it felt
Yeah.
so sweet too, because right now I'm like, I know I have all this energy right now, and
Yeah.
come summer solstice, I'm gonna hang back.
Yeah. Be a
I'm
little.
gonna have a baby.
I may even start the labor process while we're offering, So,
Oh my gosh, that will be the wild.
Yeah.
oh, but presencing this next one coming, and just honoring to Savannah and the land, opening up the space for us to start our wild soul journeys at Wild River Sanctuary. Thank you to Savannah and the Clancy's for being such a
Yes.
beautiful container for
Yeah.
us to start in. And we have our next one coming May 9th.
May
May 9th.
9th. Yes.
Anything
We're
we wanna
already
share?
inspiring.
Uh-huh.
Beltane. Yeah, just following these high holy days, the cross-quarter holidays, and opening to like what the land is calling, what the archetypes, what are the stories, and just deepening in with some really exciting pieces and just continuing this like rhythm. There's something about holding them on the holiday. It's like about every 6 weeks, we come together to be with the land, to be with each other, and to notice what's shifted inside, what's shifted outside, and to be in community with each other. So yeah. If either of you want to say anything else about Beltane or the May 9th?
Oh, it's sweet. I mean, you'll probably feel that it was so beautiful with the last one. Like everything that we feel inspired to offer starts working us. We're like Nettle. I was like with Nettle, and like Nettle was speaking to me for weeks before I offered Nettle, and it was so it's like beautiful feeling. This one I'm feeling inspired to bring in some inner movement of really connecting to that inner union of the qualities of the masculine and the feminine and embodying them by the fire, like really feeling and sensing into them. And so it's been fun to just like let that be with me of sensing them, imagining the music and the movement and the qualities, like really getting, cultivating it in my own awareness and my own being and body more. I'm so excited about Wild Rose.
Yes. Wild Rose.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Beltane. And Wild Rose, Wild Flowers, Wild Man, Wild Green
Wild
Man
Green Man.
might make an appearance. Maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe it'll be Janet.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? We didn't want to give away too much. There's an element of surprise still. But what I love is we've so far, this will be our third, and we start at 1 and we go till 5, and we're attuning to the energy of now. We started at in bulk, which was just the beginning movements. Winter towards spring, and then spring equinox, and now we have like spring feels like it's here, and so that more time with the land and the outward, yet we're still bringing in the inward journey as well. And I love that because that feels like such a feminine way of being with this young season. The energy's out and out, and we can have that, but with this taproot that we started with, an in bulk feels really mature. It feels very like embodied to bring in. So I just am grateful that we've been cultivating within our own bodies and being spirit since in bulk, initiating ourselves. So we started with tending the inner flame and then bloom into being. And now it'll be ignite
your life.
Inner
aliveness. Yes. And then we'll do solstice, have a baby. We're having a baby together.
Exactly.
And then
we had that on our business plan.
We did. That's part of the plan.
And then the vision is to continue and have some longer weekend one, maybe in end of August, early September. Anything else we want to say about vision, future of Wild Soul?
I think there's something about the pilgrimages.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I think that was at the, like, whether it's just here up to the mountain, it's to Wild River Sanctuary, like, that's also a pilgrimage that we're connecting intimately with the places that we're going. And we even have visions of going abroad, doing these different ways of, like, how can we bring this ritual with land, with women together. And we're really excited to just vision into what that might be and look like as some of the longer offerings, but that we know will have the heartbeat of the wheel of the year to return back to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been so sweet to and welcome women from Portland.
Yeah.
To come and experience the gorge.
Yeah.
And so anyone listening to this that is in the area, like further out, like to come and experience the magic of this land, because it really is so magnificent I just feel honored that I get to live here.
Yeah.
You know, and that feels like part of this generosity of we are welcoming women into this incredible land in addition to the love field.
Yeah. Exactly. The land is its own teacher and guide. Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And I think that I was remembering just the origins of Wild Soul. I think it was just sitting on the oak, like walking to the oak and sitting on the oak together, just even bringing in that spaciousness for this some simple ways of connecting and listening, you know, and Andrea, you've guided people in the nature, like crossing the threshold and going to nature. There's this way of listening and connecting that I can feel how much has formed us, like this deep knowing of that has really supported us so much. And I appreciate you bringing in like the gratitude of the land, like even just the familiarity of what Savannah's land has, you know, has really like offered us. There's something there that there's a whole infinite resource available there that we have just even started getting to receive. You know, it's like that feels like a whole new way also of really getting to experience comfort and safety and ease, but really the listening, you know, it's all speaking to us.
That'd be a beautiful segue into the Mother Wisdom song for closing.
Oh yeah,
bringing in the oak.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Does that sound good? Knowing that we'll have more of these conversations to come.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I would call this oak Grandmother Oak, and she had this big branch that went all the way out, and it was so fun getting to bring to her because you can lay fully on the branch, and we would take turns witnessing each other in the way that we would have these whole inner journeys with no medicine, just inner sober connected, highly connected journeys that were so incredible on that branch. And and honoring my grandmother, that she was the closest, she was the most safe, sweet, just talk about love field, just delighted in me all the time, you know. And this song came from really actually listening to, like, knowing this deeper after my grandmother's stroke, this like deeper experience of life and death, like the value of this whole experience of nature and just the infinite love that makes us so that. So sweet to get to sing it together. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your blessings and thank you for your grace.
Thank you for your blessings and thank you for your grace.
Thank you for this death and thank you for this life.
Thank you for this death and thank you for this life.
You hold us in the darkness and you hold us in the light.
You hold us in the darkness and you hold us in the light.
Thank you, great Mother, for your infinite love.
Thank you, great Mother, for your infinite love.
Your infinite love, 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 your infinite love.